Hi, welcome to Sheik Math Academy. In this lesson, we are going to see joint entrance examination, max questions in the topic of complex numbers. This is a past paper year 2016, year 2017 questions. We are going to see 3 questions. Okay. Look at the question. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation x squared plus x plus 1 equal to 0 and y is not equal to 0, find the determinant value. Y plus 1, alpha, beta. Alpha, y plus beta, 1. Beta, 1, y plus alpha. Okay. First, we have to find the value of alpha and beta. How to find out? You cannot factorize that out. Okay, so what we are doing, alpha quadratic formula we are using. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. Minus b is 1 plus or minus b squared 1 squared. 1 squared is 1 minus 4. A is 1, c is 1 by 2. Minus 1 plus or minus square root of minus 3 by 2. Okay, still we can write alpha, maybe alpha is minus 1 plus root 3 minus 1, we can write minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. Beta is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Note it down. Minus 1, because square root of minus 3 I have taken as I root 3. Minus 1 plus I root 3 divided by 2 minus 1 minus I root 3 divided by 2. Looking at this values, what do you get it? What do you understand? This is the cubic root. Cubic root, what is the cubic root? Omega. What are the cubic roots? 1 comma omega square. This is omega. This is omega square. Okay. Now, instead of alpha beta, I have to put minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2 or minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Instead of minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2 or minus I root 3 by 2, I am going to put omega and omega square. Okay, here I am writing until now, copy down. Okay. So y plus 1, what is alpha? Alpha is omega. Beta, omega squared. Omega, y plus omega squared, 1. Omega squared, omega squared, 1, y plus omega. Okay. Now what is the next step? In the column, you know the determinant values. It is C1, C2, C3. C1 is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. We can do. Then it will not affect the value of the determinant. So what will come here? Y plus 1 plus omega squared. Y plus 1 plus omega squared. Y plus 1 plus omega squared. You see it. Why I chose that one instead of C1 row 1? This will be the same value will come. Y plus 1 plus omega. Y plus 1 omega squared. Y plus omega squared omega plus 1 came here. So these all are the same values. Okay. And then omega squared. Y plus omega squared 1, then 1 plus 1 y plus omega. Okay. Until now we copy down. In cubic roots of complex, you will know one property, omega is minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. My omega squared is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Another one property you is learn it. 1 plus omega squared is equal to 0. So what will happen here? 1 plus omega squared is 0. So what will happen here? This will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 0. So this determinant will become, copy it on until now. What will happen? This determinant will become y plus 0. Y plus 0, I can write it y only. Y omega squared. Y plus omega squared 1. Y 1 y plus omega. Got it? Okay. Next is take y out. If you take y out, what will happen? Because when we are going to find the determinant value, we have to keep any one. If you are taking column, the one element only has the value, remaining element will be 0, then only we can easily do it, simply do it. So why we are doing, we are making, okay, take y out. What will happen? 1, 1, 1. Omega squared. Y plus omega squared 1 y plus omega. Got it? Next is our aim to get only one value. Here we get 1. We are coming to the closer. Now R2 is, copy it on until now. Okay. Now what will happen? Here I am going to write it here. Y I already taken out. 1 is 1 omega squared. R1 I didn't disturb. R2 I am making. R2 is R2 minus R1. R3 is R3 minus R1. So what will happen? Here it will become 0. 0 y plus omega squared minus omega 1 minus omega squared. R3 is R3 minus R1. 1 minus omega y plus omega minus omega squared. Okay. Now it is simple because in one column or in one row we have only one element, so we can easily do it. Now find the value y times 1. So only this determinants values only. Y plus omega squared minus omega multiplied by y plus omega minus omega squared minus 1 minus w omega 1 minus omega squared. Okay, very simple one. Until now you copied up. Okay, next step we will write it out. Y equal to, now I am expanding. I will erase this area. Okay. Y y 1, since it is 1 we can multiply y square y omega minus omega squared y, omega squared y, omega squared plus omega cube, omega squared minus omega power 4, then minus omega squared minus plus omega cube. Okay, so here 3, there will be 9 elements, 9k. We did very well. Then minus, open the bracket, 1 minus omega squared, 1 minus omega squared, then minus omega cube, it will be there, right? Plus omega minus omega plus omega cube. I put the minus here, open the bracket. This bracket is for everything. Okay, now I will delete this one. Okay. Okay, next step, what to do? Y omega minus omega y will be cancelled. Okay, minus omega squared y plus omega squared y will be cancelled. Okay. Okay. Another one important property. Okay. Now we have in cubic units there are 3 minuses. There are 4. We are multiplying with 1. These all are the 1 minus omega squared, then minus omega times 1 minus omega plus omega. And omega is, we have already studied, minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. Omega squared is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Then 1 plus omega squared is 0. Third is omega cube is 1. Omega cube is 1. Okay, so omega power 4 is what? It will be omega cube times omega 1. So omega power 4 is omega only. These all are the cubic roots of this one. You please copy down and understand. Okay. So now omega cube is what? Instead of omega cube, I am going to write 1. Omega power 4 is omega. Okay. And omega cube is here, I am going to write 1. Here this is omega cube. Omega cube is 1. Okay, that's all. Okay. Now I am going to rearrange this one. 1 minute. Copy down until now. Y squared I write like this. Okay, omega cube is plus 1 minus omega, then minus omega squared. This will be minus 1, minus is plus omega squared, plus omega minus 1. Okay, so what will happen? This minus omega squared plus omega squared will be cancelled. Minus omega plus omega will be cancelled. When you are cancelling, always when you are practicing the same one, you put this one. If it is for this one, minus omega plus omega, because when you are rechecking, it will be helpful. Okay, so then this one plus 1 minus 1 also cancel. So y squared minus 1 minute, y squared omega cube is plus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One minus omega squared. This one I didn't write it. Okay, this one will be here. Minus omega squared. This one I didn't write it. So now what is happening? This minus 1, this plus 1 will be cancelled. So what is left? Only y times y squared. The answer is y cube. Okay. I just recap it. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, x squared plus x plus 1, find the root by the quadratic formula, minus 1 plus or minus I root 3 by 2. Then omega is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Omega is, alpha is minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. Beta is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Then instead of alpha, beta, you substitute omega and omega squared. Then in the column C1 equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Then 1 plus omega squared is 0. What will become in the column 1? Y plus 1 plus omega squared will come. 1 plus omega squared will become 0. So y plus 1 plus omega squared will be y plus 0, it will be y. So in the column 1 everything of full column 1 is y will come, and then take y out, then 1 will come, then R2 is R2 minus R1. So this column 1 R2 will become 0, then R3 is R3 minus R1 will be 0. Then very easy to find determinant value. Then you find the determinant value. When you are finding the determinant value, take care of the algebra. Clearly open the bracket, minus sign, everything you put properly. And one thing you notice, omega cube is 1. Omega power 4 is omega. That's all. If you put it, one of the option is y cube in the question. You can check it out here, 2016 or 2017, I forget. Okay, note it down. Thank you. Look at the next question. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation x squared minus x plus 1 equal to 0, find the value of alpha power 101 plus beta power 107. This is the question. JEE Maths past paper question, year 2016 or 17. Okay. Now find this. First, alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. Here you cannot factorize, so use the quadratic formula. What is the formula? X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. Minus b, already minus 1 is there. Minus b means plus 1, plus or minus b squared 1 minus 4. Minus 1 squared is 1, minus 4. A is 1, c is 1. So 1 plus or minus square root of minus 3 by 2. 1 plus or minus I root 3 by 2. Okay, so alpha is 1 plus I root 3 by 2. Beta is 1 minus I root 3 by 2. Okay. 1 plus I root 3 by 2, 1 minus I root 3 by 2, if you see it, it is related to, try to connect with cubic roots of I. Cubic roots for I, omega is equal to minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. Okay. This one, omega squared is minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. So what will happen? This one, alpha is nothing but minus omega square. Okay, beta is omega minus omega. You understand? Just to make it minus, you put minus 1 minus I root 3, it will be omega squared. Here minus 1 plus I root 3, it will be omega. So alpha is equal to minus omega squared, beta is equal to minus omega. Now alpha power 101. Until now we copy down. Until now copy down. Okay, next. They are asking alpha power 101. Okay, alpha power 101 means minus omega squared. Minus omega squared power 101 plus beta. Beta is minus omega power 107. Okay. This is the odd number. Here minus sign. So it will be minus only. Minus omega 202. Odd number. So it will be minus omega 107. Okay. Omega is cubic root. Cubic root means it is repeated of omega power cube is 1. So omega power 4 is omega cube times omega. So make it 202 and 107 as repetition of the 3. Now how to do it? Minus omega square I am doing omega power 201 times omega power 1. A power m plus n, a power m times a power n. Then minus omega 107. 107 I am splitting 105 omega square. A power m plus n is a power m times a power n. Why I am splitting like this? Because it is a 201 is a repetition of the 3. It is divisible by 3. So 201 is nothing but omega cube power omega cube is 1. So this value is 1 only. So it is minus omega. Omega power 105 is 1 only. So minus omega square. Got it? So alpha power 101 is minus omega, beta power 107 minus omega square. So minus, the value is, answer is minus omega square. But the answer in the option, this option is not there. So what we have to do? They have the other options. Another one we know, 1 plus omega squared is 0. So 1 is equal to minus omega squared. So minus omega squared is equal to 1. So the answer is, the value is 1. Got it? Try to copy down. Okay, I am repeating. Yeah. Alpha and beta are roots of the equation x squared minus x plus 1. I am finding quadratic formula. 1 plus or minus I root 3 by 2. 1 plus or minus I root 3 by 2. We are splitting 1 plus I root 3 by 2. 1 minus I root 3 by 2. What are the cubic roots of I? Cubic roots of I is 1 comma omega squared. But this alpha and beta are related to omega and omega squared. How they are related to omega? So if we multiply with the minus sign, we will get alpha will become minus omega square, beta will become minus omega. Then substitute here, it is a cubic roots of omega cube is 1. So accordingly you split alpha power 101 and beta power 107. We did it here. 10 omega squared omega a power m times n is a power mn minus 202. This minus sign will become minus sign only because these all are the odd numbers. Minus, then 202 I am splitting with multiples of 3 and the remaining. 202 is 201 plus 1. 107 is 105 plus 2. Okay, omega power 201 is, this is 1, this is 1. So minus omega squared. In the options minus omega squared is not there. In the option it is 1 is there. 1 and 0, 2 something is there. So what we have to do, this is past paper questions here, JEE Max past paper, JEE main past paper questions. So minus, we know 1 plus omega squared equal to 0. So 1 plus omega squared equal to 0 means minus omega squared is equal to 1. Okay. Okay, we will look at the next question. 2 plus 3i sin theta over 1 minus 2i sin theta is purely imaginary. What does it mean? What? Complex number a plus bi. Purely imaginary means this is 0. So only bi. Okay. When will it happen? If it is purely imaginary, what is the theta value? This is the JEE Max past paper year 2016 question. Okay. So now, if the denominator is having square root or the complex number I, what is our main duty? We have to eliminate. How to eliminate? Multiply with the conjugate base. Then why we are multiplying with the conjugate base? If it is square root will go. For I, what will happen? I squared will become. I squared means it will be minus 1. So now I am going to multiply with conjugate base. Conjugate base is 1 plus 2i sin theta. 1 plus 2i sin theta. Okay. So the numerator what will become? Numerator we have to focus only what is called A only. Without I portion only we have to deal it, because it is a purely imaginary. We are going to find, okay, 2 times 1 is 2. Then 2 times 2 is 4i sin theta. Actually this is not required for us. Okay, anyway. Plus 3i sin theta. 3i sin theta plus 2i sin theta multiplied with 2i sin theta, what will come? 6i squared sin square theta. 6i squared means minus 1. So sin square theta. I squared is what? Minus 1. Okay. Is divided by a minus b times a plus b is a squared minus b squared. A squared is 1 squared minus b squared is minus 2i sin theta. 2i sin square theta is what? 2i sin theta square. This is b square. 2 square is 4. I squared is minus 1. So minus 4 sin square theta. Already minus is there. So we have to make it plus 4 sin square theta. Then rearrange. 2 minus 6 sin square theta plus I 7 sin theta divided by 1 plus 4 sine square theta, 1 plus 4 sine square theta. This portion not required because they are telling it is a purely imaginary. So this has some values. Purely imaginary means this is not there. So that means this is equal to 0. This is equal to 0. So 2 minus 6 sine square theta over 1 plus 4 sine square theta equal to 0 means 2 minus 6 sine square theta is 0. 6 sine square theta is equal to 2. Sine theta is equal to 2 over 6 is 1 over 3. Sine theta is equal to square root of 1 over 3 plus or minus. One of the option is sine theta square root of 1 over 3. This is the answer. Got it down? Okay, this sum is, it is a purely imaginary. If it is purely imaginary, what we have to do? Real part a is 0. So we are in the denominator is what is called I is there. You have to multiply with the conjugate base to multiply to get what is called to remove the I. Okay, then we get it. Copy it down.